Hey guys, today's video is to help those of you who are about to design a custom home floor plan to build on your lot, and to help give you some ideas to help you on your cost to be more responsible with your budget. I build for some folks who do whatever they want with the floor plan and don't really have a budget in mind, and good for them. I have others that, hey, they want to try to keep things in check. We're still building custom homes. They are still going to be more expensive than the most basic tract home. This home I'm standing in, as it sits right now, let's say is about 4,000 square feet. There's plenty of basic tract homes out there that are 4,000 square feet, but if you were to compare the way this house looks to one of those, completely different, especially geometrically speaking. The real basic tract builders, they'll be very boxy, right? It almost look like a square, very basic roof designs, very few gables, which are those peaked areas you see. That all helps keep costs down from a floor plan design standpoint. We're not going to do those kind of comparisons, because if you are designing a custom plan, you're not going to do that, right? You're still going to do something nice, something that geometrically speaking is probably going to be a little more complex. And when I say geometrically speaking, I mean the cuts in the floor plan design, this home I'm in. Okay, we've got sections here that are popping out. This wall's popping out here. So if you're looking at the footprint of this house, it's got a lot of cuts in it. That's more expensive to do than a straight box, because there's a lot more labor, a lot more material. The same can be true for other elements of design, ceiling treatments, roof pitches, all of this kind of stuff. So again, that's why the starter homes look very simple in their design, because essentially they are, geometrically speaking, they are simple, they're boxy. Custom homes tend not to be. But within the custom home realm, there are design elements, specifically one I can think of that is the most economical in my experience, above all of them. First off, let's just talk about the two basic type of homes you'll see, a one-story and a two-story. Okay, a one-story home, which we do a lot of, which is essentially what this home is, have become very common, and we are often building these on bigger lots. So for example, this house is on a 2-acre lot. The homeowner has the room on 2 acres to build a really big one-story, right? You're not trying to have this house fit into a specific, 100-foot wide lot or something like that, where size does matter. And sometimes homes have to go to 2-story because it's the only way to get them fit on the lot. So we do a lot of one-story homes. We also do a lot of 2-story homes, especially when homes get of a certain size, you're going to see them start to go up. And so we all generally understand what a one-story looks like and what I would call a true 2-story looks like. And by true 2-story, I mean you look at the front of the house, you know you're looking at a 2-story. It's got a big 2-story elevation on it. You're seeing the first floor windows, you're seeing the second floor windows. Okay, so those are the two types of floor plan designs we're used to as far as the floor counts. There is, though, a third option, which is a 2-story. I just tend to not call it a true 2-story, because it is where we have created a second floor underneath the attic of a 1-story home. So in essence, what we've done is created a 2-story home under a 1-story's clothing, we'll call it, roof line. So the common term, at least down here for this type of room, is a bonus room. 25 some odd years ago, I remember this term starting to get used. I've heard people call them Texas basements. I've even called them future spaces, because sometimes they're designed into the plan to be finished out later. But they are a really nice option for that reason, number one, that you could do the rough end part of it and then finish it out later. But the primary thing that I'm talking about bonus rooms for now is they are very economical to build. And so this home that I'm in had a I'd say unique design, but I've actually done this on a few homes recently, where it's a 1-story home, but it had a full set of stairs, not leading from the inside of the house, but from the garage up to attic space. And so I'm walking towards those stairs now. As I get back here, okay, boom, I've just walked into the garage, and behind me is a set of stairs. This is in the garage space right here. So when I say I've done a few of these in the past couple years, the average one-story home, or most one-story homes, to get into the attic, you have pull-down stairs, right? Up in the ceiling, you gotta pull them down. We now put in the best sets of those pull-down stairs that we can. They're aluminum, they even have a little handle on the side to hold on to, but they are still a death-defying experience trying to carry something heavy up into the attic on one of those stairs, right? If you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. So some of the clients have said, I want to have good attic access. I want to be able to be walking in from my garage carrying, 100-pound something or other and walk up a set of stairs and set it up there in storage. And so the other two homes that had this set up with the stairs, it was just left that way. It was access from the garage and they had easy access to the storage and the attic. This home, however, the homeowner saw it all put together and decided, I think I want to turn that into more living space. And so that's what I call a bonus room. Now what's going to happen is, if you notice, because we're in the garage and the stairs are open to the garage area here, this is going to have to be enclosed. So what we'll do is we'll run a wall and we'll basically encompass the bottom of the stairs into the conditioned living space of the house. Right now that door is the door from the garage to the house, but we'll move a wall back here. We'll include the stairs in the air-conditioned footage, and now it will just be a stairway inside the house. But when I talk about bonus rooms and why they're economical, it's because if you were to look at this house, it would look like a one-story to you. Now it's got a small dormer with a few windows up here that I'll show you that were really just meant to be more of a design look. He kind of wanted this look on the roof line where it had a few dormer windows. And so we've got these three kind of rectangle window openings here. I am now what is in the attic space, and the homeowner just wanted to add those so that the front elevation had that look. But this was all meant to be attic space. Now, we did beef up the floor for this area because it was the type of situation where it wouldn't surprise us to have a homeowner say they do want to convert this into living space. And so we wanted to make sure we had a good floor system up here. Plus it was designed to be heavy storage. So let's say you literally had a pool table you wanted to store. You shouldn't put that kind of weight on a typical attic storage because you're just laying it on 2x6 ceiling joists and they aren't meant to hold that kind of weight. Whereas here we have web floor truss. So these are meant to be, a second floor system that can hold a lot of weight. We also have a real subfloor. This is Advantech 3/4 inch. They also make 1 1/4 inch. We went with the 3/4 because at the time this was just going to be a storage area. Still plenty thick. It's the best subfloor material you can use in my opinion. And so this is a second floor design. You could put your pool table up here. This is designed to hold weight. I'm also standing on a lower area here where the stairs are. See if I can show this. And we're actually also going to frame a bathroom in here. So, long story short, the homeowner saw this, said, let's just turn this into living space. So we are in the process of doing that now. We will have, we're framing it in to turn it into a room. So let me show behind me here. This is what was just going to be the storage area. We're now adding some walls on the low parts of the roof line. It's just going to be a media room, so we don't have big windows for egress in here or anything like that. We will be putting another little dormer on the back. But you could, in theory, as long as it wasn't considered a bedroom, if you didn't have a closet in it, you wouldn't even have to have any windows in the roof. And from the street, it would look like a one-story home because effectively it is a one-story home. But we have finished out a lot of the attic space. Over here, we're actually framing in, we're gonna do a half bath up here. So that's being framed in for that. So the reason that this type of design is so economical to build is because we are creating living space out of attic space. It's not free, it costs money, but it is a lot less. If this is about 700 square feet, let's say, of space up here, it is a lot less to finish it out up here in the attic than it is to add 700 square feet onto the first floor. The same can be true for what I was calling the true two-story homes also. It is just more costly to add that type of footage into either one of those type of designs. Whereas here, Because we are using the space underneath the roof line, essentially the attic space, we don't have more brick, we don't have more foundation. All we're really having to do is beef up the floor and of course frame in the elements that we want. Then you're just in here with the finish out items. Add a little more tonnage to the HVAC system and a separate zone for up here. Obviously things like electrical. In the case of this bathroom, we'll have to do some plumbing. Bathrooms can get a little more expensive, but if it didn't have a bathroom, this is really inexpensive footage to finish out. And another thing about these kind of scenarios, they are great if somebody wants to finish out part of it, but come back and do the rest of it later. And as a matter of fact, this homeowner said that. Let's do the framing, let's have everything set up, roughed in, we would call it. And then he makes the decision of, they actually want to finish it out with full AC, carpet, all that. But my point is, it is a lot less expensive footage than if we just added 700 square feet onto this house. So from that standpoint, if you are trying to get the best bang for your buck out of a floor plan design, I think the bonus room concept is probably going to be the most economical to build as a floor plan. It doesn't even require, a lot of times I used to think these required really steep roof pitches to work, to be able to get these rooms underneath the attic, but it just depends on how the plan's designed. This house actually just has a 612 roof pitch, might be an 812 roof pitch on it, but it's not incredibly steep. We had this era through the 2000s where roofs were getting steeper and steeper, and it was funny when I would build a house with one of those steep roofs, 1012, 1212 roof pitch on it, was not designed to have a bonus room. You would go up into the attic and you just looked around and said, there's another house up here. That's how much space and volume there was. Roof pitches are coming back down. Just architecturally, the trend is things look more contemporary. You're bringing those roof pitches down. This house doesn't have a very steep roof, but this room fits under it just great. Matter of fact, I'm gonna crawl. We don't have the stairs to get up here yet, so I'm gonna crawl up here and walk under a few boards. The room itself, we've got our kind of low wall section still at 6 feet. You see the sloped ceilings. Basically, you'll have insulation and sheetrock right underneath the roof line and just have a vaulted ceiling in here. I've got access, the door that will go to the other attic, or I should say what's now the attic over there. Air handlers, everything will be over there. And you've got a great room up here. This room ends up being, I think it's like a 20 by 24. So it's going to be a media room when they finish it out. And again, very economical to do. So if you're designing a floor plan, you're interested in something that is a one-story home, talk to your plan designer, your architect, about possibly getting this type of setup done, where you've got a bonus room up under the attic space. Another thing about these, and the reason they can be economical, is stairways themselves can be expensive. Picture walking into a big house where you've got a big open stairway. You've got railings on both sides, you've got basically all that stairway finish out that gets expensive. These, you've got walls on both sides. It's basically what I'd call a closed-in stairway. The only thing you need for it is a wood handrail going up to the top, whatever you're gonna do for material on top of your treads. This one does kind of have the little loft next to it with the open below, so we'll have to do a little railing around part of it. But there again, it's minimal and it's much less expensive than if you had a big open stairway in a house that, is trying to look super fancy and you're having to put all that expensive railing and everything on. So I think the bonus room concept, especially if you can make it work with a lower pitch roof, one thing when we talk about roof steepness and how that affects cost, I've talked to a lot of people about this over the years. I've had people come to me with their floor plan. I look at it, I see the roof pitch, and it's got 1212, 1412 pitch, and that first number indicates the steepness. It's how high up you're going in 12 inches of horizontal measurement. So, a 1012 is here, a 1412 is here. And I've looked at these roof pitches that were on these floor plans, and I said, did you tell the architect you wanted the roof this steep? And a lot of people were like, no, I didn't really know. I just took what he gave us. And I said, well, you got a 1412 roof pitch on here. That's going to cost a lot of money. There are things we can do to still make the home look impressive. Maybe keep the side pitches steep, but lower the front to back to bring this overall ridge line. This is the highest roof ridge in the house here, to bring it down. Because the steeper a roof gets, you have more cost, you have more labor, you have more lumber. In our case, we're doing encapsulated foam insulation, which means we spray up the walls and then we spray these roof lines. Well, now that roof's way up there versus where this one is. You have more insulation if it's steep, you have less insulation if it's shallow. Same with the roofing materials themselves, the shingles and everything else. So if you can do a bonus room and keep your roof pitch relatively shallow, that is going to save you a lot of money versus adding all of this footage onto the first floor, or again, if you got like a true two-story type house, because you're just going to spend a lot more money for the extra brick, the extra foundation, all that kind of stuff. So I hope this video helps. I'll show more of this one when it gets further along. But we're talking about a house that's 3,900 plus square feet now. This will add another 700 feet onto it. And when you combined the total footage versus what this stuff up here costs, much cheaper to finish this footage up here than downstairs. It will help make the cost per square foot of this build a little more economical. So keep that in mind when you're designing a floor plan. I hope this video helps you guys. See you on the next one.